Hey, welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show. And so excited to be on here with you. And since it's a Wednesday, that means it is a Wednesday for our guy, Mr. Aaron James Hawk. Wednesday, yeah. Jeez.
Yep.
That
Get
was
him in here.
jarring.
Get
Very
him in
jarring.
here. Cock calls all day, baby.
Absolutely. Gosh, that's a lot right there. Age, I mean, we had a Mother's Day over the weekend. I got a chance to see your lovely mom and dad, Judy and Pistol, out at some lacrosse on, was that Saturday? So that was a fun little time, dude. How did we wrap that up?
Oh, it was good. My parents came down, got to watch my daughter play some lacrosse. They missed the boys played on Mother's Day on Sunday. They didn't get to see their games, but yeah, it was great, man. It's cool. It's cool being out there. It's nice when there's actually the weather is nice, the sun is out. Like we realize we are through winter and we're entering a great time of year, I think. So I'm excited.
But you got sunburns. That's the only problem. Like, how did we prevent the sunburnage?
Well, I mean, what do you mean, Bob? I reapply every 10 minutes. You know me with my super albino skin. I'm always reapplying, but my kids love it. They don't care. They want to get burnt. Like that's like a badge of honor for my kids. They want to go get sunburnt and say that it fades into a nice tan.
And then they just lay there in bed at night, sweating and crying about why they can't sleep and how hot they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what I say in the moment. Like, hey, if you don't want me to spray you down, then you are not allowed to say anything later about how painful this is. So, like, that's just how it works. And they kind of, they kind of understand the game.
And then what did we get done? I know our guy Axel turned 8, so heading into second grade next year. What day was his birthday? Was it yesterday?
Yeah, May 13th. He turned 8 years old. So yeah, he loves hibachi. Who doesn't love the old hibachi? Making a little volcano on fire and all the little tricks, and they had to do the little bottle that they're spraying, telling them it's sake, but obviously it's just water, spraying it in their mouth and stuff. So yeah, we got to do that with all the kids and cousins and everything last night. It was cool.
Teaching them young.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of teaching me, I want to show you this real quick because I saw this and someone sent it to me and they go, "Listen, was this your boy Age? Is this what he ended up sending, his mom or maybe Laura for Mother's Day?" So I didn't know, if we had this little picture here popping up, if you look at it right there, hey, it's a happy face, pull it down, just pretty excited. So I figured, if Axel did something like that, maybe for Jude, since like Mother's Day and his birthday are so close.
They did not. They are very creative and imaginative kids, and I try to thrive and tell them like how great it is that they are very, I like what they come up with, but they did not come up with that thing. But trust me, if they somehow see this clip, I would assume a couple of my kids will absolutely be using that in the future.
Honestly, making dongs of things is like it's a whole other part of your brain besides even right or left. I don't know where it would be in there.
It's true,
but it is something. It's true. Like it's just maybe like just only dudes have that. I don't know. Hey, let's go. Well, what did you actually give Laura on Mother's Day? What was your gift? Because mine was like I got her chocolates. I made a random card from our dogs that I basically was making fun of her, and then my daughter got her a card making fun of her Nasitol, and it was all jokes. But how do you deal with your kids because they're younger? Are they buying stuff? Are they picking out stuff for you to buy? Are they creating their own cards? How does that work in the Hawk House?
Yeah, luckily a lot of them created their own cards at school. My younger two, nice. They created cards at school and made little things. So my Mother's Day situation was just kind of facilitating all of the kids' school stuff and having them write their little things for my wife, for Laura, and my older ones. Yeah, they actually paid for flowers for me to get to. They said, "Hey, my daughter, let me know. Hey, if you get it, please get flowers from us. I'll pay you with my money for all of this." So yeah, they understand. They get it. I don't know. Mother's Day is a tough gifting thing. Like, what are you supposed to give your wife for that? I'm recently in the middle of my email. I don't have email on my phone. I lost half my contacts and my notes section is gone for the last month and a half. So I have everything in my notes section. Like everything that I need is in my notes section, and I'd have none of that right now. So I actually went through, like I would put in things over time. I put in like, hey, Laura, gift ideas, like throughout the years when.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I lost most of those. So
Damn.
A lot of those popped up from like 2018, 2019. So I actually ordered a few things from there that I hope I didn't get in the past. And I gave it to her like a DOP kit. One was a perfume. And I said, hey, I don't know if you asked for it this year. I'm confident you didn't ask for this year, but at some point this was a gift idea for you. So bam, here you go. It turned out all right.
So when you sell iPod second generation on there, you're like, yeah, this is perfect. She definitely wants that.
Yeah, I got it, like the evergreen. There's evergreen items. That
Yeah.
was kind of what I got her. Yeah, like one was like I think a perfume that she wanted. This was like a
Mm.
dop kit. I had like a little, and it wasn't like it was like $15 dop kit. I'm like, she must have asked for this at some point or sent me and said she likes it. So it all turned out pretty well. And edible arrangements. You always get the chocolate dipped strawberries because I like eating those.
Well,
Yeah.
who doesn't like to dip things in chocolate and then feed it to each other, AJ? I know it's a big fan of that in the house. Look at Schlegs over there. Yeah, the double weave and
Oh,
dip
yeah.
meat. What how, because I know you're a technically savvy guy, how did you end up losing the contacts and the notes? Did we like get a new phone? Did we break our old phone? Did you get cyber hacked? I mean, did someone send you a message that you needed to pay some parking fines in Arizona, and so you immediately put in your credit card number?
Now, see, I'm very good at sniffing those out. I don't respond to anything because I know it's all a scam.
It's all
But you're right. I did not get a new phone. Nothing. It logged me out of my email on my phone, and it won't let me get back in no matter what I do. Finally, I can get on email on an actual like old school computer, like it's AOL days back in the day. So it's actually kind of nice. I'm not fighting to get my email back anymore because now I just don't have email on my phone, and it's been beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really worry about it, and I just come up to I got a computer in one room. I don't even have a laptop, so I come up and check my email every once in a while.
So all the way up to the
emails.
floor,
There's no weekend emails for me, so it's I'm strictly a text guy now. But I need that note section. I need some of those contacts back because I'm missing a bunch of contacts that I need.
Oh, that'll be great. Like new phone, who dis? And you respond to random numbers. So you're telling me the only way to access an email is to go up to your third story where the little I don't know, the crow's nest where you're at right now is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I could use a laptop, my wife's laptop or something. I haven't even tried yet, but when I try to get on through my phone, nothing's doing. Someone I'm probably hacked, I'm sure, but I assume we're always hacked and they're always taking everything.
So what you're telling me is that when people would always ask like, hey, how do I get a hold of AJ? I used to just give them your dad's email because you'd say, if you want to get a hold of me, email Pistol, and then he could act as your intermediary and then text you the information for that. And so when people would ask, I quit. I was like, I'm not even going to give them AJ's email, even if I know you're someone that they would respond to. Because I mean, maybe this has happened before. You just didn't respond. So is your dad? Is he? I know he's retired now. He said he was looking for some work and a little bored. Is he kind of operating as your intermittent PA at this point?
He probably would be willing to help now. I mean, he definitely helped in the past. But no, I don't even send Pistol's email out anymore. He does kind of help me still with my Ohio State tickets because that thing is, that's a whole process trying to make sure you get there on time and get that all situated. He definitely gives me some help on that. But no, Pistol's not helping. But I tell you, luckily I don't have like a normal gig, a normal job. But it's pretty nice, not to have the red dot pop up with a billion unread emails, and most of them are all garbage.
Hey, there is something that Bob was putting in our group chat, and I think it was interesting. There's a thing that just came out called the safety shot. You ever heard of this?
I don't think so.
It's a beverage developed by Safety Shot Incorporated. That means they're legit.
Yep.
Okay. That claims to rapidly reduce blood alcohol content.
By half. In 30 minutes, AJ.
30 minutes.
Your blood alcohol level in half. I mean, it sounds like way.
So do you drink it while you're drinking, or you drink it the next day? When do you drink?
I think hey, I'm tired. I'm really drunk. I need to drive home. I need to get sober. I drink this. It cuts your blood alcohol level in half in 30 minutes, which that sounds way too good to be true because I've drank I think a gallon of water in 30 minutes and it didn't do anything.
I mean, that's a wild claim, I would assume, if they're claiming that. But it brings me back to, I don't know if you guys had probably like in middle school or high school when they give you you watch the sex ed videos and the drug videos and stuff. So they would talk about people being drunk, and they were saying it takes a certain amount of time for your body to metabolize the alcohol. And they'd say there's no real way to sober up, and they'd give them a cup of coffee. And what do you have here? Like a caffeinated drunk. What do you have here? They put a drunk in the shower and put water on them. You just have a wet drunk. That's all it makes me think hey, you can't really do a whole lot. It takes some time, I guess, for the booze to get out of your system.
Well, we now have science and it's probably some sort of sports science. They hooked these dudes up to the whoops and the Zephyrs and all the stuff and figured out how to get it done. By the way, since you mentioned that, I just saw Cullen graduated from Dare in 5th grade, which I think we did ours in 6th when I was growing up. but they did away with dare for like 20 years because they said it didn't work. And then we had a generation of people that were addicted to drugs. So I figured they thought maybe we should bring it back. Did they go through dare up in Dublin?
Yeah, I don't know if they've graduated or not, but yeah, we've had dare over here for sure. Like, yeah, it did go away for a while, but does it? I mean, I guess it works. I haven't heard people talk that are older, like, hey, this person came in that was an ex-drug addict and spoke to us for the dare program, and they had a big box and they claimed it was all these drugs they used to do. And I've heard people say, man, I want to try every drug in that box. So I was hoping everyone doesn't have that reaction.
Oh, I mean, honestly, it kind of terrified me. I watched some of those. I watched I don't know if you remember the little mouse video where they fed the mouse cocaine and like they'd press the button and little cocaine would come out and they'd press it. And by the end, man, that rat was just hammering down. And then he just flipped over and had a heart attack and died. And I thought at some point, I was like, as I got older, I was like, I kind of like to drink and hang out and do this. And I kind of am obsessive with things that I really enjoy. So I was always terrified. I'm like, I remember that damn rat. I'm like, that'll be me. Like one day, Agent Slags will find me in college, and I'll just be like, I'll have not made it in to work out. I'll try to be the drunk that tried to sober up with some blow, and I'll just be laying there in my car, just dead in front of the Woody Hayes.
That's something I wouldn't have minded because then you guys couldn't make fun of me for always waking up late, going to McDonald's and doing that stuff. So
it could have helped you stay thin, though, Slags. Think about this.
Exactly.
It's clean you up.
Exactly. Honestly, we should have put out there like, hey, what does science say about if your blood alcohol level and just putting a chew and a dip in at the same time while drinking coffee? I wonder what that would actually do for you.
Exactly.
I want to hear what the science says.
Age, I want to ask you this, a little bit of a football question here. I don't know if you've been following the Trey Hendrickson.
I like that you're giggling over there.
Well, of course. Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals, with what's going on with him, like he's holding out. Had like a 25-minute monologue with the media the other day, explaining his position with the team. Like, where are you at with regard to, players? Like, I always say, like, dude, players don't comment on other guys' contracts and everything going on because you could always be in that position yourself. Kind of where are you at when it comes to, his situation there in Cincinnati and what's kind of happened over the last 6 months?
Yeah, his situation, it's weird because it's been going on for a couple of years, and he claims, like, the fact that he came back to Cincinnati to stand there like in golf clothes and talk to the media on the practice field, I think tells you a lot. Like, this dude is fed up. Like, he wants to be – it sounds like he wants to play in Cincinnati, but he's not going to play under his current deal because a year ago they told him, like, hey, we will take care of you. And you go out there and, you think, okay, the guy goes out there and leads the league in sacks. That, of course, when you look at the price, and I think he even said it, like, when he talked to the media, like, it's not my fault that the price of outside rushers has gone up so much over the last couple of years. I was trying to get paid. I was trying to sign something a couple of years ago from you guys, but now you got Myles Garrett making $40 million a year, and Trey Hendrickson makes 21, I believe, right now. So yeah, he definitely deserves a raise. But like, yeah, if you're the team, like, what does that look like? What does the structure of the contract look like? I'm sure it all has to do with how many years and if the player has any kind of outs and what the options might be. But I don't know if they I hope they get it done. They absolutely need that guy. I mean, Sam Hubbard retired. I know they drafted an outside guy who sat out of minicamp, but they need Trey, and I hope they get it done.
I like that you threw that nugget that sat out of minicamp. But when you're looking at this, you have their defense was not very good. You just spent all this money on wide receivers, right? You need somebody like up front. Like, how much money is there? But why does this always happen in the nasty natty? Like, they're spending money on offensive power, but if you can't stop anybody, Joe's going to continue to have the greatest years of his career, and they're not going to go to the playoffs because they can't stop anybody. Why do they consistently do this down there in Cincinnati? You were down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cincinnati's it's a little different. They've grown and like evolved with the league. Before, people always just assumed, hey, the Bengals are cheap, they're never going to pay anybody and all this stuff. They've definitely renovated things and made things nicer and have paid some guys, no question. I know Katie Blackburn's running the show pretty much now for her dad. I don't know, though. Like, it is a weird situation when that happens. Like, you get whatever the reputation of the team is. And it's always good, I think, if you're an owner, a GM, whatever, like, if you take care of your people, like people that have maybe people you have drafted. I understand they didn't draft Trey. They brought him in as a free agent. He's been awesome for him. But when you take care of your people that are like foundational pieces, and I think that's what you want to try to do. But it's a good problem to have when you say, hey, we got a lot of like franchise type players that we need to pay big money to, but it's true. Like, you can't pay every single one of them, but you kind of can. Like, you can kind of manipulate the salary cap and how they do everything. You can find a way to get creative with it. It just depends, I guess, what that contract looks like and how many years that contract may be. It's a tough gig, man. I can imagine. It would be tough to take it, to not make it personal. I know Trey said his situation has become personal, but to not at least take it personally, like, how would you not as a player?
All right. Speaking of personal age, before we get you out here, we got one quick question. I mean, you've got the teeth; they're looking good. Now, Schlegs and I went back last week. We had a conversation. So, I've been using the Spartan men's spray, just trying to keep the hair thick. Schlegs, I've given him that. He's doing some other stuff too with it. I mean, you seem to have a pretty thick hairline, but it was pretty thin in college. I mean, is there any secrets like to what's going on here to be able just to?
I need all the help we can get, man. I need it.
I don't think there's any. I don't know if there's any secret or anything you can do. People love my kids love to tell me about how big my forehead is. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's why I threw this thing around the NFL. That's why we're able to live here, because I have big head, a lot of surface area, a lot of forehead. So I try to make them feel better about that when people try to talk about people's hairline and stuff. I'm like, hey man, we don't know what that person may be going through. But the Spartan, I got questions about the Spartan. It's called Spartan spray. Schlegs is using it on other things. What appendages do you use this spray on, Schlegs, and what does it do?
No, I don't use it on other things. I use it on my hair. But I did have my barber, Ron Keeper, my guy, Edwards Grooming off of Gay Street. I didn't make it up where he goes. Shout out. But he gave me this stuff called powder puff, and it's like a sprinkling deal. I don't have it in a day, but like I worked out, got in the sauna. But like,
have you used that before? I've heard like people that
powder puff, you sprinkle it on, and then
movie people do that. I think people do that in movies or actors.
Yeah, and it makes it like naturally thick. I'm like, oh yeah, so Spartan, Nutrafol, I'm doing it all. See, collagen, fish oil.
I don't want something that's like a fake fluff, AJ. Like that's what you don't want, just fluffed
just
up.
Keeps it volumized,
like looking good and hanging on there. So that's what I've been trying to work through. So I had tried Hims for a while. I think the Spartan actually is working. I don't know if it's regrowing anything, but at least we're hanging on. We got like a nice anchor now. It's locked in. I feel like all the hair that's in there is kind of staying where it wants to go. So I mean, it's just a question, because it got caught in my algorithm once I started like stopping and watching some of them. And I mean, I was going to the national championship game for watch Ohio State. I was sitting in that airport for like an hour and a half up in Cleveland, and it broke me down. I bought it, an impulse. I had to get it done. And so I've been kind of working with it for the last couple months. It's just leave it in for 2 minutes in the shower, 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. We're ready to go.
Well, that algorithm is real though. Like I almost buy these, like there seems to be a million different life-saving, you can live forever pills that you can buy online at any moment. They target me directly on Twitter and Instagram. Like, this sounds amazing. This is for my mitochondria. This is going to be beautiful.
Is it Bradley Cooper that's giving you those pills? And then you can your brain, you can access like parts of your brain that you never could before.
That middle part that Schlegs talked about earlier.
Right. That's right.
That dong drawing part that we can activate that part.
Exactly. Boom.
Mr. Cooper can help us with that.
If you need that activated, all you got to do is head into the linebacker meeting room at Ohio State. James has it in full effect. And I'm going to be honest, like what was once old is new again. And they've got a great deal to the point where there's been other people in the facility that have commented on some of the things that go on in there. And I look at them, I go, listen, man, this is great. Like the guys, it means they've got a tight bond. They're very comfortable.
Great fellowship.
They're very comfortable with each other. If you can slide some phallic pictures just on the board throughout the room, I go in there and now it's like the photo hunt for me when I'm in there trying to find them to see if I can locate them when no one else is around. And maybe I even add in some of my own just hidden around to see if they can find them later. So it's really a great game, but they're really tight connected and it's a lot of fun. So
what was the best place that you've ever hidden a secret dong drawing before, AJ? Minds want to know.
No, I believe Bob drew most of them, but I always was a big fan of on the whiteboard that was behind the projector screen that D'Antonio or whatever. Oh, here, let's pop this screen up. Let me draw something. Oh, and there's multiple dongs sitting on that screen. Like I always like the surprise effect. It always seemed that dong may have been drawn 2 weeks before, but a lot of times, like when it would be presented, it was always fun to see like whose reaction.
Do you have a particular dong that you like to draw? Like I always liked the Dong rocket ships because then I could put whatever country or whatever, thing that I wanted on it to label what that was, and vascularity, but not really just, like what was your favorite?
I mean, I think everybody, it's like handwriting. It's like a handwriting analysis. You could tell how people like to draw, but spaceship, spaceship from day one, always USA. Usually, sometimes they'd be dueling against other countries as well. So yeah, you can never go wrong with a spaceship.
I was hoping that I had one on my helmet chin strap still from when we would draw them on each other, but I pulled it down, and the only thing I have is from when our guy Curtis Terry.
Oh my gosh,
boy!
Look at that. What did that show back up there again? Show it back up.
Wow.
Through that.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
Dirty Kurt. That's exactly what I was going to say, and I didn't want to go there.
I knew there was something written on.
I
knew there was something on the backside of this helmet. I just couldn't remember what it was.
That's awesome. I forgot about that.
Dirty Kurt, yeah.
That's what I was telling the guys. I go, man, it's a good. You got a good room when you can mess around and have a good time with each other. So, AJ, we appreciate your time, dude. Go have a fun one with Pat, and be the healer, the baby face. But life is wrestling. I got to tell you, dude, I started watching that Netflix documentary on Vince and WWE last night, and it was remarkable. I had no idea how we're getting into that. So I'm going to watch a little more, and you have fun with our guy and enjoy the show. All right.
All right. Thanks. I'll see you guys soon. Later.
There it is. Our guy, AJ Hawk, got a little deep today, got into the linebacker room, and, some of the stuff written on the helmet is real life from what my man, Dirty Curtis Terry, Dirty Kurt, if you will.
Coaching high school football, my guy.
Yeah, he may have some stuff on his that may or may not be some pro-German markings from the World War II that were written on his chin strap. And we went out there together and practiced until Dress would yell at us.
The best was when guys would go out there and we'd get in their lockers and we would draw huge dongs on their thigh boards.
Oh yeah.
And then when they got really wet, and it would just be like monster dongs on their thighs. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that guy.
You can see right through there. Oh, it was so great. So great. A lot of fun, man. And the good news is they brought a lot of that back. And so that's when they got a good room. Attention, parents, athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber, custom fit to your own unique smile. They print that thing 3D right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, so you can focus on the game, not on the gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Visit xsportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. We got some interesting stuff coming up. Some recruiting news. We're going to dive on into the world of recruiting. What is going on? What's working? What's not? Who's committing where? We'll talk about that here next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And listen, hopefully you enjoyed that first segment with AJ. A lot of hijinks, a lot of fun. If you want to know what a dip into the meeting rooms are like, and what's great now with James is being the coach and the guys they have with Sonny and Arvell and Peyton Pierce and the crew. Like those guys have as much fun as we did back in the day. So it's been a lot of fun to watch them and to be a part and be around them a little bit. Schlegs, I don't know which one you want to talk about first. We could talk about one of the cringiest recruiting videos
one
I've ever seen. This is courtesy of Dan Lanning Dan Lanning, so head coach of Oregon. And listen, I get it. We've seen some stuff with the Brian Kelly Schlegs. You remember at LSU, the back-to-back on the turntable spinning around. That I think at Louisville, they had like the private jets. Remember when the guys came in and they're like taking them through the hangar with the private jets and sports cars and different stuff. And thankfully we've subsided from some of that. And I generally like Dan Lanning. you know, what he did in the last year in the bowl game, I was like, or against Ohio State in the regular season. I was the 12th guy participating, taking advantage of the rules. I didn't necessarily love it. Because I think you're circumventing like the sportsmanship of the rule of what you're trying to do, because they had changed it. But this is one of the cringiest videos I think that I've seen. And listen, I'm all for adult men like swimming, hanging out, having your shirt off, especially if you work hard at your physique. I don't know if I'd be doing that and hanging out with like high school dudes that I'm recruiting. Jim Harbaugh used to do it, like just out there throwing the football. But take a look here at Dan Lanning, this recruiting video of what they've got going on.
Didn't see you there. Well, you know, all the schools, they all show me, you know, so much love, but there's one school, you know, show me the most love, and, you know, I guess it's where I'm going. You ready, Coach?
Let's get it. It's so terrible.
Hold on. Wait for it, Clay. Wait for it.
It's time, baby.
Oh, it's time.
Oh,
I mean,
so terrible.
Schlegs, I'm going to evaluate this. Like, I was a pretty confident dude in high school. I don't know if I was that confident where
100% you would have, Bob.
I was a swimmer. I actually went swimming today. And so I would swim, not in a Speedo, but that like would be a jammer. Those kind of look like, you know, skivvies or tights that you work out in. I mean, my wife yells at me when I like wear that out, even if I'm doing competitive swim. And
you're mowing the yard.
I'll go in it. Well, I don't do it when I mow the yard, but I'll go on a jog
anymore,
maybe. But I'll go on a jog. I did help coach my dad in some of the old school tight bike shorts, which were pretty sweet.
Who wouldn't?
Well, that's what they used to wear back in the day. But I was like, dude, why can chicks work out in spandex and dudes just can't? But I mean, the fact that that's what we're wearing there in that video, like, oh, didn't see you there. I'm here laying out. I mean, that was something else, man. Like maybe I'm not cut out for 2025 college football.
Well, I mean, the fact like he's there and there's just like two random young ladies, appropriate age, one chair over. Okay. And then
where did Dan Lanning come from? Where is he?
Like? He came from the left and like, but it was just the setup, the being unauthentic about it and
inauthentic.
Like just inauthentic. What did I say? Unauthentic? Yeah. Inauthentic. Just be real. Like, hey, I'm going to Oregon. Like, I don't get that. What, like having a jumbotron and sitting out there? Listen, the weather's terrible out in Oregon. Just like it's overcast and rains a lot here too. Like we get it, but just because you're there on a good day doesn't mean you need to jump in a pool and Lord have mercy, take your shirt off when you look like that. Like, and nothing against them. And I understand the coaching life. Like you're in meetings and you're on the road and you're recruiting and you're watching film and you might not be eating the way you should and you put on a couple LBs because you can't work out appropriate, but like just a bad vibe right there with that whole video that I don't like.
Yeah, it was
that's not really indicative of the culture that you want there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what do you mean?
You're not going to see Ryan Day. You're not going to see Ryan Day do that.
I thought that was about hashtag brotherhood. You know, dudes just swimming in spandex together.
But that's the thing, though. Like that goes back to like, are you a parent or are you their friend? Right? Are you a coach or are you a teammate? Like it's different. You know,
I used to love
I want to coach. I love my coach. I loved all my coaches, but they're there to coach you. I don't need them to be my BFF. That's why I had you guys. But I want a coach to tell me what I got to do to be better to reach my goals, not let's go swimming together.
You know, what's amazing is it's a little bit like coaching. Like the coaches that I'm closest with now are guys that were the hardest on me. And now we can sit back and have a beer and talk about different things and talk about life and the realness of what happened. Some of the coaches that weren't like that, I don't really talk to because there's not, I don't know if there's that respect or that connection that was there, but it's the ones that always challenge you, I think. And it's the same thing with parents. People have told me, I have immense respect for my mom and dad now, and they never tried to be my friend. And you know what now? I was like, dude, I'm friends with my dad. We can hang out, we can talk, we can have drinks, we can do whatever. And my mom, because they were tough. And so I respect them for that as opposed to going out there and them wanting to hang out and be like the mom in Mean Girls, where they're out there hanging, drinking schlegs, just having fun. And life's a beach, you know, life's a garden, dig it. So
that's Joe Dute.
I don't know if I could see like Ryan doing that or any of the coaches that are at Ohio State. That seems like it would be a bit extreme. Schlegs, as we look at that. So to each his
I mean,
own.
I can see guys coming over to a house where a guy has a pool and they're doing a power of the unit thing and they're all swimming together. I could see that, but not somebody that I don't have a relationship with for a long period of time, like a recruit. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, kind of crazy to see that. So
you want to go into we got more time. You want to go into like what people have to understand about a talking offer.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick break. Schlegs, we're gonna get into that about what offers mean, and you're gonna lead that here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back in to the Bobby Carpenter Show. And Schlegs, you're the recruiting master, the maestro. Sure. You have kids that you wanted to be developed into division or whatever, college athletes.
1, 2, 3, doesn't matter.
Schlegs is your guy. I mean, he's developed other players. He's developed his own children into those types of folks. It's really a shame that you didn't get Faith to play like field hockey or like lacrosse or something.
She wanted to graduate early because she didn't want to transfer high schools.
I get it.
I appreciate her grind.
Yeah, no, it's what I'm saying. Your daughter's a grinder. She's gorgeous. She's strong, like smart, like all of those different things. So throw this up here, Schlegs. Why don't you educate me on the offer situation of what this means and talking about these offers?
Yeah, Pat, you can go on there. Everyone talks about offers. And this is from an agency, and we just happened to see what it was. And they said the 5 things you need: great film, strong academics, athletic traits, coachable mindset, proactive outreach. The number one thing I say to parents is like, be realistic of what your child is. I mean, like, honestly, with my own children, I am the most realist person in their life when it comes to genetic potential and performance. And I tell them exactly where they are and where they could go, predicated upon certain things. This one says great film. The hardest thing with that is we've lost the connection. And I think part of it is the parent. Part of it is, why do we coach? But I just vividly remember my dad calling schools, sending tape, and driving players to colleges, especially when their parents couldn't do it. My dad did that for 20-something years. Kudos to all the coaches that go do that for them. But you got to get film out in some capacity. I don't like all of the camps because here's what I think with the camps. Literally, these kids are going out and just running 40s every single week, max velo, doing tests, when we don't ever do that in training. There's always times for that, but there's going all of these things. But camps, coaches want to see apples to apples. And I always tell parents, be selective of the camps that you go to that could potentially have the most abundance of the coaches that your child could potentially get into, AKA Division II. Are there some Division I's that might be a MAC or whatever, Sun Belt, those type of conferences, and also Division II because there's really good ball. There's scholarship offers to be had there. Division III, there are no scholarships, but there's a lot of academic money if you do it the right way. The athletic trait, size, speed, movement, whatever, all those things. Yeah, there's some genetic qualities, but then you look at your boy Zach Thomas, Bob, and the dude was like 5'9" on a good day, and he's a Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. So, like, you can't hide ball, and that's going to shine, but there's going to be people that will not take you for that, and there'll be people that will because they just see that and they know that you are their type of fit. So be realistic. Where could my fit be? What is this university? Is it Ohio State? No, but could I go to a Michigan State? That's a developmental. And I'd say they are developmental. They are. They're not the top echelon.
Unless you're, to me, like you said, unless you're one of the like 7 to 12 schools that are competing for a national championship like every single year, I think everywhere else is a developmental program. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Right? Then you have that coachable mindset, which they all got to. And that goes into like when you go there, preparing your kids to go be first, like be confident in your work, right? When preparation stops when the foot hits the ball, but you got to seize the opportunity. So be able to listen, be coachable, watch the drill, be the first guy, because that guy, if he messes up, it's a little bit okay, but just go hard, right? People just want to see kids, coaches want to see kids that can take instruction, but that can go really hard and that want to compete. That's a huge one, right? And then proactive, like reach out to coaches. The DM thing, and it is, I'm sorry if they don't respond back, because they should, to all of them. That's part of it. Or you have some of your minions that on your behalf respond back. I always say respond, but it also goes into parents, like educate your kids on what they put out on social media could have a direct impact on everything that they do. My son is a good kid, but I tell him all the time, guilty by association, you're going to play college baseball, all these things that you're around, you have to think about that, because what if it gets public? You know, if it does and you're around it, though you're not participating, it still matters. So just be very cognitive of those things and the people that you're around, because you're going to do bigger and better things than other people. So that's kind of it. But it always goes back to having that dialogue and that communication. Don't say, hey, it's their sole responsibility of the coach to go do that. It's not. It's a collective effort. The number one effort starts with your child doing what he's coached to do. And then when coaches, you throw a highlight film out there, they also want to see the mistakes. And we talked about that with Milrow. They want to see the full game tape, because that's where they can really get a good snapshot of how does this guy handle adversity? What is his attitude and effort from the first quarter to the last quarter? Send it all, man. Like, lay it all out on the table.
All right. I appreciate that, Schlegs. That is a very, very excellent breakdown of the recruiting game and what's going on. I want to tell you about some excellent gear by our friends from Backer. That's BCKR. Premium products, premium quality, Buckeye gear, stuff that you love to see out there, Schlegs. That's going to be the stuff that's better than at the normal team shops.
Yes.
It's the hunting gear, the fishing gear, the skiing, whatever, golfing, like that premium stuff that you wear that looks so great, that feels so good. You're wondering, like, can I get it now with my team on it? Well, yeah, you can. And whether it's coats, hats, they've got it. It is there for you. It's a premium product with a little bit of a premium price, but with that, also some is going back to the Ohio State athletics for the student athletes. So you're helping to contribute to them as well. So go check them out. It's backer.com, BCKR. Use promo code Bobby, all caps, and that'll get you some expedited free shipping. So go check them out, backer.com. All right, coming up, we got our headlines. There's a Buckeye who's entering the coaching world, Schlegs. Let's hear where they're going and who that is coming up next. All right, Schlegs, as we heard this, I don't know if anybody else has seen this before yet coming in, but it's our headlines section. Before we get to our headlines, reminding that headlines, they're brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing. Lake Spur Marketing is a full-service ad agency. It's built on trust, strategy, performance, the things that matter. The Lake Spur team shields you and your team from the outside noise, the cold calls. They let you do what you do best, run your business. Schlegs always says it's tough to work in the business and on the business. They've got the experience. It's over 100 years in marketing. Lake Spur eliminates the waste. They deliver on budget, which is huge. They don't chase clicks. They help build partnerships. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. So go check them out. All right, Schlegs. Oh, goodness. As we sit here today, one of our former teammates is getting into coaching. He's been helped around at Ohio State. I've seen him at some spring practices over the years. Nothing crazy consistent. If we want to throw that up there, Pat, our guy Santonio Holmes is deciding he wants to get into the coaching game. Now, where is he going to be coaching? I believe, Schlegs, where is he going? To Central State, if you will? Going to Central State. It's in Ohio. It's excited. Central State University. Appears this will be his first college coaching gig, so super excited for him about that. He's a Belgrade, Florida native, brings world-class playing experience and deep tactical understanding of wide receiver position to the yard. Known for his elite speed and precise route running and the ability to deliver in big moments. Holmes adds championship pedigree to already ascending Central State program. That's what the Marauders media guide or statement wrote. So he's going to be joining up there. Still a top 10 receiver in Ohio State history, Schlegs, and one of the great ones that we got a chance to play with. So great to see him up there. First time getting in college coaching. What does that look like, Schlegs?
Oh, man. Fun, exciting, everything that you thought it wasn't and more of what you thought it would be. It's a lifestyle adjustment. We talked to, I mean, heck, you and I both know, Bob, like when Vraves came in 2011 and Hartline stepped in and James came back in and, now Nate Ebner, right? It's funny. I had this conversation with him, and a lot of times, and we say this, Bob, like you and I talk about it a lot, but the only people that really know you are us. It's just weird. And we're also trying to find like, where's the normalcy? Where's, how can I have some autonomy or some more freedoms? But it's really good to be in the state where you're developing young people that were just like you. And yes, it is a grind, but it's a consistent grind and it's different. And you're able to work with people that are similar to you, which in the workplace, they're not a lot of that. I talk about sense of urgency all the time. They're not. So to be able to go back and do that and run this wide receiver room, especially with his background, I think he's going to do very, very well from the nuances that he has. But he's also getting back into becoming an expert in ball. Because it's one thing when everybody else is calling the plays. It's another thing when you have to teach somebody else what they need to do in every given play. And you're the expert of everything for those athletes. And how do you educate that? That's probably the number one thing he'll realize in there is how to become an educator. The good thing is we're all coached by one of the best. So I think he's going to do well. I like this as his first opportunity. He gets to feel it, experience it, and it will only go up from there because of who he is and what he's also done.
Absolutely, Schlegs. Love it there. That ends this edition of our headlines. We've got some tailgate talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck, where we answer some of your questions. Talk about some of the comments that you've thrown out there as well. We've got some comments from our last shows. If you want to throw some stuff in the chat, go ahead. We will get those answered here coming up on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Now it's time for our tailgate talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. And Schlegs, as we look at this, there's been a lot of talk, and we're going to get to this Monday, folks, or not Monday, what is today? Thursday, about the schedule releases.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, today's Wednesday. We'll get to it tomorrow on Thursday. Touching on it, Ohio State, it was announced that Ohio State and Texas is going to be a Fox game. Now, they haven't formally announced it was Big Noon, but I don't know if anybody should be surprised at that. Fox gets the first three choices. They're going to jump on Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, and heck, they may take Ohio State, Penn State, or as another. I don't know. But they're going to hop on a lot of the Ohio State games in the noon. So we'll get into all of that stuff tomorrow. We just had AJ on, and so I wanted to make sure we had enough fun stuff with him as well as we moved forward with that. There was a question that came out, Schlegs, or a comment rather, came from Tuesday's show when he starts talking about scheduling from Derek Worley, 5009. It said, in terms of scheduling, I like the 10 games conference that you mentioned. I think on the outside, though, there should be a standardized game set between an FCS team and a Big Ten team. in the SEC, similar how the NFL has you play a team who finished in the same spot as you are. So this year, OSU finished 4th in the conference, meaning they would have to play Mizzou next year, Oregon versus Texas, and kind of down the line. And so that's how they do strength of scheduling in the NFL. If you finish first in your division, play the 2 other corresponding teams from your conference that would have finished first, and you play one other division from your conference entirely. But the other ones, you play that corresponding team. And with the 17th game, I think you do that in the crossover then as well, with one of them from the AFC or NFC. So I think that could work. I would love to see that where there's some sort of Big Ten SEC challenge, and we can get into that, Schlegs, down the line. It's really a bigger conversation. Problem is there's 16 teams in one, 18 teams in the other. And so trying to, where is it, 14 teams and 18. And so trying to mesh that up on a yearly basis could be tough. But I think it could be done if they move forward. And then said for the FCS piece, it's for funding. Those teams depend on those playing FCS, the FBS games. If the FBS cuts out those games completely, only a few programs will survive. Have everyone in the FCS play 1 week across conference and a rival. That way you get equal teams going to 10-game conference play. Like, it's not a bad idea, Schleich, because then it gives you some level of congruency when it comes to scheduling.
And it doesn't even have to be Big Ten, SEC. It could be like you're just playing Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big Ten. Like, where do those games come from? I do like the pairing. But again, when you go to eventually when you're going to have 64, 70 teams, and it is that way, because that's what you do in the NFL. Like in the NFL, it's like the NFC North is playing the AFC North that year in those games. Like that's how they do it. And there might be some other crossover, like you mentioned, Bob. That's where they got to go. And that way, the strength is the hardest thing with that is, we mentioned it earlier in this show, there's probably 12 teams that aren't developmental. Everybody else is. And so it's just from one year to the next in college football, especially with the parity that has come from the portal, you don't know what that one team looks like from year in and year out.
Yeah.
Example, Indiana this year.
Example, Indiana on the positive. Negative example, Florida State, where they were knocking on the door of the CFP next year. What did they win? 2 or 3 games. So they were bad. So that's what makes it a little bit tough. But I do get it. Believe me, I would love a Big Ten SEC challenge where every year, and to make sure you would have maybe to make sure that you have your scheduling, because remember, you have to balance your home and away games where every year maybe all of the games are at the SEC. The next year, all of them are at the Big Ten. And so you'd be able to schedule accordingly off of that to kind of build that in. And then maybe Fox and ESPN could get together and say, hey, we rotate by taking 1, 3, 5, 6, fun 3, 5, 7, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 as you move forward the next corresponding years. It would be a great product. People would love it. They would be just ham over it. So I think there's a way, hopefully, to maybe get that done, but people have to sit down and be smart about it. All right, that's it for Tailgate Talk today. Great questions, great comments. Love them. Keep putting them in the chat and leave them there for us on the YouTube machine. Coming up next, Schlegs is going to wrap up the show with his parting thoughts. All right, Schlegs, we're going to save the shark for tomorrow because it's a sweet video, and it's Sharknado is too long. You got about 30 seconds here. Just round us out.
30 seconds. Hey, you know what? What I'm starting to do at the Armory, I always been having like team meetings, and I got a really, really good core team of people. And first day, I read this book right here. Boom, Poof David Copperfield. The One Thing. Good book, can't use it all. But one thing I did do is when I show up to work, I get my work done, and I just started scheduling our meetings at 2 o'clock. That way, tomorrow, people know exactly what the deliverable is. I don't bother them. We'll reconvene at 2. That's what we're doing after the Bobby Carpenter show today. We're going to attack and dominate, and so should you.
Poof David Copperfield. We love it, Schlegs. All right, stay locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter show. We'll catch you tomorrow.